All right, let's just get right into it. If you've ever dealt with chronic low back pain, you know that question, the one that just haunts you, right? Is this ever going to get better? Well, today we're going to tackle that question head on. We're going to dig into some surprising truths and hopefully map out a much clearer path forward for you. So, let's do this.
I mean, does this sound familiar at all? I call it the floor moment. You know, 1 second you're just grabbing something from the fridge, and the next, you're literally stuck. You're on the floor, bargaining with a higher power, just promising you'll do yoga forever if you can please just stand up. It feels so personal, so isolating, and scary in that moment, but it's a moment that connects millions of us.
And that's where the question really comes from, right? From that kitchen floor. It's the question you find yourself Googling at 3 a.m., the one you're almost afraid to ask your doctor. Can this actually be cured? Seriously, the whole reason we're doing this today is to find a real, honest, and actually useful answer to that one big question.
And if you're feeling alone in this, just look at this number for a second. 619 million. That's how many people were estimated to be living with low back pain back in 2020. It's the single biggest reason for disability on the entire planet. So this isn't just your problem. It's a massive global challenge. Your story, your struggle, it's part of this huge shared experience.
Okay, so let's start right there, right on the floor, because that's where the search for answers for a cure almost always begins.
Okay, first things first. Let's just get on the same page. That word chronic, it sounds so heavy, right? Like a life sentence. But in the medical world, all it really means is time. It just means the pain has been hanging around for more than 12 weeks. You know, way longer than a typical muscle strain should. So the big thing to remember here is chronic means it's been a while. It doesn't mean it's forever.
And that brings us to our very first truth. And honestly, this one's a game changer. For so long, we've all thought about back pain like a car problem. You know, there's just a broken part, a bad disc or something. But what the science is showing us now is, well, it's a much more complicated, but actually a much more hopeful story than that.
Okay, think of it like this. Think of your pain as a big orchestra. Your actual back, the discs, the muscles, all that stuff, those are just the instruments. The conductor, that's your brain and your nervous system. But here's the key part. You've also got amplifiers. Things like stress, bad sleep, even fear. They're like the speakers, and they can crank the volume of that pain way, way up. But you also have silencers. Things like exercise, good sleep, feeling supported. They can act like soundproofing and turn that volume way down. See? Chronic pain isn't just one broken instrument. It's the entire orchestra playing out of tune.
And this quote, this just nails it. A pain specialist said this, and it really validates what so many of us already feel deep down. That your MRI scan, yeah, it matters, but your story, how you're sleeping, how stressed you are, what you're worried about, all of that matters just as much. It's not just a problem with a part of your spine, it's a whole person experience.
So once you start to see it as a whole person problem, it leads you to this next really important truth. We have to talk about what we actually mean by the word cure, because I guarantee you what you're thinking of when you say cure might be completely different from what your doctor is thinking.
Look, for most of us, when we're in pain, our goal is just erasure. We want it gone. Poof, never to be felt again. But for a doctor or a physical therapist, the goal is usually function. They want to get you back to doing the things you love, living your life, even if that means you still have to manage some flare-ups now and then. And that mismatch, it's huge. Because if you're aiming for total erasure, then getting back to hiking but still having a bad day once a month can feel like a total failure, when it's actually a huge win.
So, let's ditch the all-or-nothing idea of a cure for a second. Let's think about it in 3 different ways. First, there's the structural cure. That's the dream, right? The MRI looks perfect, the problem is just fixed. Then there's symptom remission. This is amazing too. It's where the pain is so low, so infrequent, you barely even notice it anymore. But then there's the functional cure, and this one is so powerful. This is where you can live your life well despite the pain. You can do the things that matter to you. That is a goal that gives you your life back, and it's totally realistic for so many people.
All right, this brings us to truth number 3, and this is where the rubber really meets the road. We're going to get super practical now and look at what the actual science, what all the clinical guidelines say is the best way to move forward. This is about finding your reset button.
And you can't ignore the money side of things. It's just a reality. I mean, look at these typical costs. A physical therapy session might be $100. An MRI, that can easily be over $1,000. And surgery, we're talking tens of thousands, maybe over $100,000. There's a reason why every international guideline says to start with the simple stuff first, like movement and physical therapy. It's low risk, it's way cheaper, and for a huge number of people, it really, really works. You start there for a very good reason. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. Exercise is the closest thing we have to a reset button. Out of everything we've studied, all the guidelines, all the research, regular movement is the single most powerful tool for taking back control. It's not magic, it won't fix everything overnight, but it is your reset button.
And just how powerful is it? I mean, it's kind of staggering. A recent major study found that just walking, we're talking 3 to 5 times a week, cut the risk of a major back pain flare-up by almost 50%. That's a massive return on investment for just going for a walk. Incredible.
Okay, I know, this can all feel like a lot, so let's just pause and break it down into something you can do, like right now, in the next 15 minutes. This isn't about theory anymore, this is about action.
Forget about a 5-year plan. Right now, you just need a 15-minute plan. Here it is, 4 steps. 1. Do a quick red flag check. Just make sure there are no emergency symptoms. 2. Pull out your phone, open your calendar, and schedule one short walk. Just one. 3. Figure out what your copay is for physical therapy. Just look it up. 4. Draft one single, brave question to ask your doctor at your next appointment. That's it. See? Super small, totally concrete, and it puts you right back in control.
So, that brings us all the way back to the beginning. Back to that big question. After talking about the pain orchestra, redefining what a cure even means, seeing the power of just walking, let's ask it one more time. So, can chronic low back pain be cured? Here's the honest answer. For a few people, yes, a true, complete cure is possible. It happens. But for many, many more of us, the goal is actually something different, but just as powerful. It's about regaining control. You can absolutely reduce your overall pain. You can make the flare-ups happen less often and not last as long. And the most important thing? You can get your life back.
And maybe that's the real secret here. Maybe the goal isn't to shrink the pain down to nothing. Maybe the real goal is to grow your life so big, with things you love, with people, with joy, that the pain just becomes a smaller and smaller part of the picture. The goal isn't just to get rid of pain. The goal is to build a life that is so much bigger than your pain.